Alright, so welcome back everyone. It's been about 10 days since my last video. I did a community post explaining why that is, but to summarize it here, it is because we were understaffed at work. So I had to work more, and I didn't have a lot of energy by the time I got back home. So everyone, thank you so much for your patience and for 250 subscribers. You guys are amazing. Now, without any further ado, as you may know, part 2 of The Eminence in Shadow is coming to Grand Summoners Global later tonight. Which means we will be getting the other two Eminence in Shadow characters, Alpha and Delta. Now, if you haven't looked up anything regarding these two, you might be wondering if you should summon them or go for at least one of them. And today I'm going to tell you exactly that. Also, I am slightly cold, so sorry for the bad audio quality. Oh, also for 250 subscribers, I will start my own Discord server. I will announce it to the community tab once the server is up and running, so be sure to subscribe so YouTube can let you know. Okay, back to the video. Firstly, let's take a look at Alpha. Alpha is a light spirit, which makes her the third ascended spirit character we have in Grand Summoners Global, the two previous ones being Beta and Aristella Orbis. And honestly, it is great to see characters that aren't humans or demons get released. I'm glad they realized we need more races in the game. This is an indirect buff to Halloween Forte, by the way, so it's a win for all my people that have Halloween Forte. Anyway, to get to Alpha, on her skill, Alpha increases her art gauge by 20 or by 40 if she's above 80% HP. Honestly, I'm kind of jealous BF Emperor didn't get similar treatment here, because we can all agree that 20 art gauge in today's standards is unreal. For her art, Alpha will reduce the enemy's light resistance by a solid 60% for 15 seconds, which for an art is quite strong actually. As for her true art, Alpha will increase all allies art gauge by 6 per second, and additionally will reduce the enemy's crit resistance by 100%. Be mindful that since this art gen effect is not conditional, Alpha is a type E art gener, which means she has some pretty tough competition with characters such as Hoka or even Summer Chloe. Now, as for her super art, Alpha has some pretty funky stuff going on. On her super art, Alpha will increase all allies physical damage by 100% for 30 seconds. The next time you will use her super arts, all allies physical damage will get increased by an additional 100% and the timer will reset, which means for the next 30 seconds, your team will be dealing 200% increased physical damage. You can do this up to 4 times, for a maximum of an extra 400% physical damage increase, which is nuts. This super art has so much potential. In terms of abilities, Alpha increases her own crit damage by 50%, her heal equipcity by 10%, and for her unique ability, when she's near death, she will give a massive heal to the entire team, and for 10 seconds, all allies will get a 50% damage resist. Lastly, for her slots, she has a 5-star physical or a 6-star if you get her to LB6, a 5-star heal, and a 4-star physical, which can be turned to a 4-star support if you get her to LB7. Her true weapon is a 5-star physical which will increase your crit damage by 50%. However, if you have it on a light character, it will increase their crit damage by 100% instead. Additionally, if it is equipped by Alpha, it will increase her attack by 20%, and it will give Alpha 100 art gauge at the start of the quest, so you will be able to hit that true art and super art faster. In my opinion, Alpha is an overall good character. Of course, it kinda sucks that she's a type E art gener, but if we're going to let one negative outweigh all the positives she has to give, we're going to be having another Summer Chloe situation. The physical damage she gives is nothing to laugh at, and of course, being able to reduce the enemy's crit resistance is always a nice thing to have. Now to move on to the second character we will be getting, Delta. Delta is a fire beast, which again is nice to have more races in the game, that's what we wanted. For her skill, Delta will heal the ally with the lowest HP by 20% of their max HP. This skill is actually pretty good, since we don't really need dedicated healers in the game anymore, so having the heal to be on her skill is nice. Unlike Hoka's heal, however, she heals the lowest HP ally by a percentage instead of a set value, which makes it a stronger heal. However, it being on a 12-second cooldown makes it a bit weak, but that's fine, because in her art, Delta increases her skill city by 100% and her physical equip city by 30%. The physical equip speed is whatever, but the skill city increase is something you should definitely make use out of. As for her true art, for 40 seconds Delta will increase her own attack by 50% and she will reduce the enemy's fire resistance by 50%. This can stack, and it lasting for 40 seconds means you can stack it quite a lot. Lastly, for her super art, Delta will completely ignore the enemy's defense, and additionally, if you activate her super art when she's above 50% HP, she will increase her own damage by 150%. But it doesn't stop there. If she uses her super art when she's not affected by stout ailment, she will increase her own damage by an additional 150%, which can result in tons of damage. As far as abilities go, Delta will increase her own damage by whatever that means. She will also increase the BE output of fire characters, and lastly, she will increase her art gauge by whatever that means. In terms of slots, Delta is rocking 2 5-star physical slots, one of which can be turned to a 6-star physical if you get her to LB6, and a 4-star magic, which can be changed to a 4-star defense if you get her to LB7. And of course, her true weapon is a 5-star physical that will increase the character's damage by 50% and fire damage by 70%. If you have it equipped on Delta, Delta will get a 40% boost on her attack, and she will increase her art gauge by 1 per second, which isn't a lot, but it is typeless, so it's good to have. Personally, I find Delta to be a very solid attacker that will work perfectly in a mono fire team. You could pair her with Kirisame, Sanraku, and Valentine Priscilla, and you have the perfect mono fire team. But outside of mono fire, does Delta have a place in Grand Summoners? Well, that is up for you to decide. For me, she certainly does. I just can't think of any other teams right now aside of a mono fire team. So, in conclusion, should you summon Alpha and Delta? Like always, try doing at least a free multi, and if you get either of them, you won't be disappointed with either of them. And that's pretty much everything there is to it. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to drop a like and comment down your thoughts. And if you're new here, why not subscribe with the bell on to never miss a video just like this one right here. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all did enjoy, and I will of course see you on the next one.